Aloha and welcome to the show. The 692nd Podcast is a platform for developing and connecting with our airmen across the island and those now serving on the mainland. Tune in for episodes where we talk all things leadership and personal development while getting a glimpse into the lives of the people moving our missions forward. I'm your host, Master Sergeant Derek Addison, and this is the 692nd Podcast. So welcome. This is Master Sergeant Derek Addison, and I'm here with TSgt Randy Kelso. Sergeant Kelso, please introduce yourself, who you are, what you do for the group, and maybe why you're here, if you know.
So, Sergeant Randy Kelso. I work at the 8th IS, and right now I am in the CCX, so I kind of support the Commander's Action Group. What I do is I handle taskers, which people love, MIG-T, which people really love, and I also work with the awards program and pretty much anything else that kind of comes that way. So where I'm from, I'm originally from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and you may have heard of it, and I'm also obviously here stationed, like I said, in the 8th.
So you worked in CCX. That's kind of a new... that's kind of a niche position in the 8th IS. That's what's Commander's Special Plans and Programs?
Yep, so official duty title would be NCOIC Strategic Plans and Programs.
And is that normal for a squadron to have?
So my knowledge, not really. I think, so if you know Colonel No, something that he kind of threw together. Master Sergeant Newton, Master Sergeant Rowe, Sergeant Cabalas, they all worked in that newly stood up section, so to speak.
So who else is in CCX with you?
Nobody else.
So you took on the role of 2 master sergeants and another tech sergeant on your own?
Yes.
Okay. Was there... So I'm kind of curious, did they have more work to do under Colonel No, or are you just running around like a chicken with your head cut off?
No, there's a lot of work, so I can see why they, made the group. But I think they were also spread to a lot of different projects that were going on at the same time too. So Sergeant Cabalas kind of slipped into that front desk role,
Right.
which obviously is very high vis and busy. And then Sergeant Newton and Sergeant Rowe also were kind of rolling out Colonel No's strategic plan. And then, as we know, the AETs were getting stood up. So I can definitely see how the workload could be split to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
More ops side, more admin side, and how they were all very busy.
Yeah. So you said you took over the MIG-T, so the USAPM.
Yep.
Okay, so you are getting ready for an inspection, or the wing inspection team that's coming out here, or virtual?
It's virtual.
It's
yeah.
virtual right now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
16 Feb.
I think they're 16 Feb. It's good. It's good to know. With MIG-T, how many programs do you have to deal with?
So that is kind of become almost a living thing, which I'm not, it's not the best thing, but we're finding out over time, COVID changed a lot of things.
Right.
And then people having different programs that might have dissolved because no longer needed, or programs that might have died out and then resurfaced. So daily, I'm finding out whether or not something is still pertinent to the 8th, or if it's not, or to the group. Is it managed at the group level? So off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you an exact number.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
It's a few. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. Obviously, if you start thinking about them, there's quite a bit.
Right. And each program, I think let's say there's 20 programs. Each one of those programs has multiple different aspects to it. So the one off the top of my head that the 8th doesn't have to deal with is the I think it's the 792nd one, the QA program. They've got specifically, it's one QA program, but they've got 7 different things that they're responsible for, throughout the squadron.
Yep.
So it may be one program, but there's a lot of aspects to it. And I'm certain that the 8th IS has something like that or similar, where it may be one program, but it's got, a multitude of kind of sub programs or subcategories.
Oh, yeah.
That you have to keep track of as well, or the program managers should be keeping track of which also means you have to keep track of.
Yes.
So, not that you are babysitting, but
No, no. It's not like so. And again, things kind of people aren't in the building as often, and people PCS. So we've
right,
had a lot of changeovers. So some folks are just not familiar with it. Or hey, surprise, your program didn't have a checklist, but now there's one in MIG-T.
right.
Oh, you've never done MIG-T before. Well, I'm kind of new to it too. Let's
Yeah.
figure it out together. So it's been interesting. But
Yeah.
there is a 20 is a good guess, actually. I'd say.
Yeah.
For baseline.
So, are you OCD or anything like that? Are you a
No,
perfectionist?
so if you want to do the color lenses, I'm an orange. I'm not a gold.
Okay.
Gold is my lowest score. So organized chaos. But I think this job has forced me to use my calendar, use my email, but I'm very personal. So I will try to go find people. I will go up and talk to them and say like, hey, let me sit down, pull my notebook out.
Right.
Where are we at? That's easier for me to check a box than it is for me to have everything lined up. However, Taskers also brought that organization
Yes.
tool out of me. So I think I'm becoming more OCD, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to.
Yeah, the person up at the group who took over, or who was I guess the commander, the group side of the USAPM was Master Sergeant Langford, and she was very particular about verbiage and things like that. And you would call her OCD, maybe if you didn't know her. She has a little OCD. I'm not gonna lie, but so
Yeah.
she almost kind of epitomized that position. So whenever I think of anyone in the USAP position, I always think of like her. And she knows me well enough. She knows that I'm not speaking mean or anything like that. But the neuroticism that came with that she had to have or force upon that program as at the group level. So
Yeah.
because let's say you have 20 programs, but that means the 392nd will also have 20 programs. The 792nd would have 20 programs. The 324th has 20 programs. The group
But
staff
that's not always the
has 20
case. Yeah.
has 20 programs. Exactly. Like that number can go up. It could go down.
Right.
But she had to herd all of the cats that were just, going everywhere. So I think that maybe a little OCD is not bad,
No.
especially in your position. So
I could definitely take that feedback.
Yeah.
So I'm going into this inspection with high hopes and a lot of learning.
Yeah.
So Sergeant Barretto and Sergeant Bonin
Yeah.
are working that SAPM from the group now.
right.
And I talk to them daily. I'm sure they say they're not getting tired of me. So, I'm just going to keep doing it. But
Yeah.
I know that they also have delivered stuff to me. So I can just kind of copy paste those
Right.
verbatim statements and give them out to everybody else, make everybody's lives easier.
Yeah. Yeah. So I heard recently that you had a random visitor to your house.
Oh God! All
Can you-
right,
let's talk about that.
yeah.
happened?
So this is an interesting situation. So actually, the times I've told this story, I find out that more people have some kind of connection or interaction with this situation. So let's just say I got a knock on my door probably last Saturday prior to this last Saturday, and didn't know who it was, wasn't expecting anybody, and I was on the phone with a friend at the time, and just me and Kita, my dog, at home. She's a German Shepherd. And we go to the door. I answer the door. Don't know this person. She's trying to come out, so I close the door, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" Says, "Hey, I'm lost. I was just kind of walking around, and I need to tell my ride where I'm at." So I'm like, "Okay, let me help you out here." And he's like, "Yeah, can you tell my girl?" And he hands me his phone, and it says "Baby Mama" on the phone. And I'm like, "Okay, that's
Classic.
right." So I'm looking at his phone, and I'm giving her instructions to where her pearl side is and stuff. And I'm looking at him, and I'm seeing, spider web tattoo on the hand and neck tattoo. And I'm starting to think, and he's kind of being twitchy. This guy's not military, or doesn't look like he's military. And I finished giving instructions, and kind of alarm bells are going off at this point. I hand the phone back, and he says, "Thank you." Reaches his hand out. Says, "My name's Brandon." I shake his hand, and I'm like, "Well, good luck. You can wait out here. Hope your ride finds you." And I go back inside, and my friend who was on the phone with me still at the time says, hey, you should call the cops. I was like, really? She's like, yeah, something's off. So I
So she could hear this through the phone as
yeah,
well.
so she's also helping me
Yeah.
give this person directions. But so I ended up calling calling the cops,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, give us a description. And so I turned that FMV IMS hat on real quick, and I was like, start giving the full description of this guy, and they're like, well, that matches suspect number one. And I'm like, what? And then they start relaying all this information. They're like, sir, please, be safe in your house. Try to keep an eye on him, see which direction he goes, and things like that. I ended up giving this guy a bottle of water too. Before I knew that, I forgot. He knocked on the door again, and I, refreshed him.
That's good.
But yeah, of course. Well, I'll tell you why that's bad later. But so I go upstairs, and because I didn't want to be at the door anymore. My dog's down there; she's watching him. I'm looking out the bathroom, and the only way I could see him was off like the reflection of my Jeep window. So they're saying, "Hey, cops will be there soon. They're on foot, no lights, no sirens." They see this guy. He changes his shirt. He takes his shirt off. He was wearing a backpack at the time. He changes his shirt, pulls it out of his backpack, puts on a different shirt. They say, "Hey, the guy's wearing a green shirt now." They're like, "Okay," and they relay that to the cops too. Soon, I see a couple minutes go by. They're got the flashlights, and they're walking down the sidewalk, and the guy starts banging on the door again. Now at this point, I know this is not a good guy. Cops intersect, and they're yelling at each other. He looks like he's trying to bolt. They put him on the ground. At this point, I came downstairs because it was exciting.
Yeah, right.
He's kind of yelling, saying I didn't do nothing. They ended up having to tase him because he was fighting back. So they tased him. At this point, I walked out back because I know my neighbor, Al, that's beside me, sits out back and likes to have a cigarette. And so I was like, Al, you got to come out front. It's going down. So he comes out, and he's like, what? He puts a cigarette out, goes out front. And they're taking this guy. They cuff him up, put him in the back of the cop car, right? And my dog is like, she's loving it. She's ready for the action. And they knock on my door. I open it, and they're asking me questions. Hey, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. You gave a description. You said he had a backpack. I said, well, yeah, he did have a backpack. I didn't see him do anything with it, though. And they're like, oh, well, can we look around? I said, yeah. So they open up the side gate where the trash cans are, and they hit something immediately. And I was like, oh, that's unusual. They pull there. Here's the backpack. And my neighbor's like, that's not his backpack. I'm like, okay, I'll calm down. And so they end up opening this backpack up. They're putting the gloves on and everything like you see out of like a CSI type movie, right? And I'm, adrenaline's pumping. And they pull out meth. They pull out scales, measuring scales, loose cash. And then they say, Sarge, we got a gun. Yeah. And they pull a pistol out. And this guy was a drug dealer. We find out later, I didn't know anything at this point, that had ran the gate in a white sedan, ran the gate, ditched the car, was running from the cops for a good half hour. I gave him a bottle of water. But
well, that's fine.
And Chief Master Sergeant Nedadog's husband, actually, when I told her the story the next day, she said the car flew by him and the cops were going the wrong way. And he had to wave one of the cops down to redirect them to where he was going. Said he was going back Pearl side. So this guy had been on the run for a while. And all the cops that showed up were very relieved to
where did he ditch the car at? Do you know?
I don't know. Like I said, it was like 8 p.m. on a Saturday, and I was just home relaxing.
Because I think on Sunday morning, I passed by a white sedan on the Pearl side that was just kind of, it looked like it was parked by like maybe a student driver or someone who was in a rush.
Yeah.
So.
See, the more times I tell this story, everybody starts to think that somebody said, I saw a car with all the doors open at the shopette. I was like, okay.
I don't know.
Maybe that was his ride. I'm not sure, but it looked like it was a stolen rental. It's best of my knowledge.
This was an older vehicle, so.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Brandon, the meth dealer, was tased and arrested on my front door. And
with a gun.
With a gun,
That's
fortunately, it was in his backpack.
Yeah, that's good that you called the cops then. So, and
yeah,
whoever was on the phone with you.
I was
I'm glad
Megan
she heard.
Ellis. Yeah, she heard it.
Yeah, I'm glad she also felt uncomfortable with the conversation that was going on. So you mentioned FMV and IMS.
Oh yeah, my bad.
It's okay. So you're an FMV, which is full motion video
Right.
analyst, and IMS is an imagery mission supervisor,
Correct.
or formerly known as. I'm not sure what we're calling things nowadays, because like you said, the AET structure kind of
That still exists.
okay.
Yeah.
Everything we had, back when I was an instructor at Goodfellow for the FTU, is all gone. Well, it's all up in the air whether it's gonna fall back down or not. So, how long have you been a FMV analyst? Have you always been an imagery analyst, a 1-in-1? And if not, what were your other jobs?
So yeah, this was my first base, and I was here at March 2010 as an MG analyst. I've always been a 1-in-1.
Okay.
And I started off in high altitude, working, the standard mission decks with
Yep.
that. And then it used to be like a rite of passage. After you've done this long enough, then you can do this. So
Okay.
I did that for a good minute, and then I transitioned into being, an IA, imagery analyst for the kind of your eyes on watching the feed
Right.
for FMV. After a while with that, you progress into the screener role, which is more hands-on talking to people and
Right.
whatnot. And so I did that my whole first tour here. I didn't make IMS here. Now 2014, I went to Beale, showed them my stuff, and then that's where I progressed into that imagery mission supervisor role.
Yeah.
Which later on, I liked it so much, I ended up working in the training shop most of the time, and I ended up working the supervisory boards. So
Okay.
assessing and evaluating future IMSs as to whether or not they'd be a good fit. I did that for a long time, and some people probably hate me for this, but we showcased it to the wing when they came and visited, and they loved it. So they made me write a bullet background paper on it, and then pushed it to all the squadrons. So that's why all the other DGSs have supervisory boards. It's
So-
kind of my fault.
We call them verification boards now, right?
Right.
So, before FISRA took over in 2007, we did have something similar to verification boards. It wasn't a formalized event because each DGS, obviously before the standardization, they all had their own kind of ideas of what made a qualified and certified operator or, imagery mission supervisor or whatever. So we did have something similar, it just wasn't codified. So, but that's not always a bad thing, right? Like putting
Right,
things
right.
down on paper and
No, he believed in it.
and making standardization is not a bad thing. FISRA went overboard with it and tried to do everything standardized across the board, which doesn't work.
Was that at 1? Were you at 1 when you had that?
No, I did. I was at 3.
3, because I heard that there were 2 other DJs, and I think it was 3 and 1 that had something like that, a
Yeah.
base model.
Yeah, we had one because when I became at the time it was known as CSS, the Conventional Systems Supervisor. That's in charge of the Conventional Systems Operator Voice and Conventional Systems Operator Morse positions.
Okay.
So you got the voice and the Morse, and then you've got the supervisory position that's above them. In order to do that position, you had to pretty much pass a board of the lead voice ops, the lead Morse ops, and the lead CSS to get to that position. So, and you also had to be recognized and recommended by the ops soup and all that other stuff.
It was a real progression. It was a badge of
was.
honor. Yeah.
It was,
And
and you
I
had to
think
be an
some people
NCO.
still feel that way. Yeah. Well,
So you had to be an NCO at the time. I was a senior airman without a line number, so the ops soup said that I had to qualify in Morse because I was already a voice op, obviously, as a Korean linguist. But he said that you had to qualify in Morse as well, and then after you pass Morse, then we'll look at you for the CSS position. So
it's a challenge accepted, right?
kind of, yes. Mr. Bob Fraley now. He was Senior Master Sergeant Robert Fraley at the time. But yeah, Mr. Bob Fraley, he knows that I both love, respect, and a little hate, actually. So I guess there's 3 aspects in there. But he was a kind of a no-nonsense type op soup that I really didn't understand at the time. I appreciate now as a senior NCO. So are you eligible for Master Sergeant?
I am.
Is this
Yeah.
your first year, second year?
This is my second year.
Okay.
Yeah, first year that I was eligible was the year that they did not have testing. So
Okay.
this is I was, kind of tossing to the board score and what it means and
Right.
all of that. And so it's a learning progress for me, but this is my second time up and, fingers crossed like
Yeah.
everybody else.
Do you think you're ready to be a senior NCO?
I do.
Okay.
I'd say the last couple of months in this job have definitely made me feel a lot more confident for that.
Yeah.
But I'd say my first year's tech, I was still feeling it out, still figuring things out. But I'd say right now, with the amount of coordination that I get to do with so many, flight leaders and deputy flight chiefs and working with the Commander's Action Group, well, that's kind of myself, I guess. But
Yeah.
working in that aspect before those people PCS'd, I feel like I can, definitely handle that here.
Yeah. Do you think in your current position, if you make Master Sergeant, do you think you're going to be missing out on certain aspects? I'm assuming right now you're not a supervisor.
No, that's one thing that the job does lack is that there are no troops,
Right.
and you kind of you're checking yourself really,
Right.
But
Which is a tech sergeant you would hope that anyone can do.
right,
Obviously, we know that's not the case in all aspects, right? We are a gaggle of professionals, but we're also a gaggle of people. So
right.
not everyone can be excellent in all they do all the time. So do you think that you're going to miss that aspect of being a supervisor? I mean, obviously, as a master sergeant, you can still be a supervisor, but you more than likely will not have airmen anymore. You will have staffs and techs underneath you.
So, I mean, I never really felt like I missed that per rank. I always felt, even as a tech, supervising staffs, I never really felt like I missed that because I just always would still talk and work with and mentor airmen.
Right.
So for me, just because I don't have the title over them, it hasn't changed how I would, treat or interact anybody that happen to be in my section or outside my section.
Yeah.
So I've always been somebody that just wanted to support everybody else.
Yeah. It's good.
Officially, that's different.
Right. Yeah.
You can always still help people, but
Absolutely.
so for me, if I make master, I think I'm going to still continue the path that I'm down and still help people regardless of level of rank or title.
Do you read any nonfiction books or anything like that?
Yeah.
Do you read like business books? Do you read self-improvement?
I read a lot of everything.
Okay.
It just depends on, I guess, kind of the mindset that I'm in at the time. So I've read, history books, factual history books. And honestly, a lot of my readings are based around my college. So
Okay.
since I just took a German class, which has been interesting. I just finished it. So trying to read stuff in German was a challenge. Tried to pick up a little like starter book, like a kid's book. I couldn't even do that. So I was like, I need to finish this class first. But I'd say most of my time, what was the last book I read? I really like, David Eddings. I like, what's it? Gosh, On a Pale Horse. I can't remember the author's name, but it's kind of a fictional book
Okay.
in regards to, like
I mean, I've got Google right here. Too.
Heaven and Hell. Yeah, I can't remember the author's name, but it's like purgatory is a place for people to have a job as, like, the Grim Reaper, the death has a job, and he weighs souls, and he decides who goes to hell or heaven based on, their imbalance and who they are as a person. So that's just one example.
Okay.
And those books, that series is pretty good. I really dig that.
By Pierce Anthony.
That's right.
Book
Pierce
focuses
Anthony.
on Zane, a photographer about to commit suicide who instead kills death and must assume his office.
Yes. Those books
Interesting.
are good. I'm still reading. I think I'm on the last one, which is Mother Nature.
So you like reading books, let's say fiction books, where there's a kind of a twist to the story that most people don't think about?
Yeah, so I'd say maybe people that like Dean Koontz,
Yeah.
or I dabble in the audio books with Stephen King. I went through The Talisman,
Mm-hmm.
and the Mr. Mercedes series was awesome. That crime thriller, like murder mystery type stuff.
Yeah.
I like food and like books. I like a lot of things. I
Yeah.
don't have one genre. I could read sci-fi. Ready Player One was awesome.
Yeah.
And then I could turn around and read a book about war. Like I'm
They're the same thing.
yeah. I like things.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's good to have a maybe, let's say, well-rounded interest. In my mind, you should always find something new that maybe you weren't interested in and try to figure out what is interesting about it. At least recently, I've been doing a lot of, I say recently, I've been working on myself for going on 10 years now, but
10 years, huh?
it's I'm still a work in progress, I promise you. There's a lot to fix, I'm not gonna lie. So I've always, obviously in my mind, I like what I like, and if you like the same thing, cool. If not, I don't care, right? But
Yeah.
I feel like relationships are built better if you say that you like novels by Pierce Anthony. It's like, okay, so I'll read a Pierce Anthony novel and see like how the writing is and things like that, the storyline. And I also like shows or books, or I don't read a lot of fiction. I have way too much content that I'm taking in via podcasts. Some of them are fictional. Majority of them are like history or like stuff you should know or stuff you missed in history class. Malcolm Gladwell's revisionist history. I guess I got a lot of history in there. But so I listen to a lot of podcasts and I read a lot of books. Majority of them are self-improvement or not really self-improvement, more on self-reflection type stuff, leadership, management, things like that. Obviously, when I became a tech sergeant and I started having a bigger role in leading at Goodfellow, I wanted to make sure that I was kind of taking in different aspects of leadership. And then, of course, after NCOA, I got a little bit more into that because NCOA was a really good experience for me. I may not, I've never read a Pierce Anthony novel. I've never heard of On a Pale Horse, but it kind of sounds like Ghost Rider in my mind, where
The
like
TV show?
yeah, or the movie with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought they had a Ghost Rider TV show too.
I think they
It was
do.
weird, kind of scary as a kid. But,
It's possible. Maybe. I think it's Space Ghost. No. So
That's also
Yeah.
a cartoon.
So in my mind, like first thing after I said, Zane, who's a photographer who killed Death and had to take his spot, I thought of Ghost Rider, where he is now, he does the work of the devil. I can't say he's the messenger or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't really know what his role
Recommending
is.
that book I've found to people that are religious usually kind of shy away from it.
Oh,
But
I'm not, so
it's
we're good.
Yeah, it's totally just it's all again it's fictional.
Yeah.
So you could be it's just it's a
Yeah.
good story.
Do you watch a lot of TV shows?
Yeah, of course.
What type of TV shows do you like?
So I mean, I got the Baby Yoda on the back of my Jeep. I gotta give a shout out to Mandalorian, obviously.
Yeah.
But then I also just finished Truth Seeker, which is with the guys from Shaun of the Dead. I always forget their name. Nick Frost, I think, is one of the guys' names, and I can't remember the other. Simon Pegg?
Yep.
Yeah. Dang. That TV show was pretty good. That
Truth
was
Seekers.
It's basically a guy who's he believes that there's supernatural, right? There's supernaturals out there, and so he kind of like goes out and tries to do a ghost hunter type thing.
Yeah.
But it's if you know those guys and you know Shaun of the Dead, it's also got that comedy side
Yes.
to it. So I love their stuff, and I just finished that, and I thought that was a good show.
Do you believe in ghosts?
You'd be surprised by this. So I'm from Gettysburg, right?
Right.
Where it's haunted, apparently, as all get out. And I watched a lot of that stuff, and I read a lot of books on it. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's a deep question.
I mean,
What I'm saying is, you'd be surprised that I didn't just go, yeah, I love ghosts. Ghosts are great, but I'm skeptical. I've always been a bit of a skeptic, a bit of a realist, and so I think that there's stuff I don't know.
right.
Sure, maybe there are, but I also messed with people in Gettysburg, so me and my friends would borrow reenactment clothes and walk around with a lantern during ghost tours, like the ghost walks, and mess with people by the haunted bridges and stuff. So I'm pretty sure I'm a lot of people's ghost sightings as well.
Interesting.
I
It's
don't
kind
know.
of a jerk move.
It is, but you know what? We were teenagers.
Oh,
we
no,
had,
I did
we had
horrible things as a
reenactment
teenager.
clothes. I mean, tell me you wouldn't at least try that.
I definitely
do
would.
that.
I'm
was
also, like I said, though, I'm a work in progress. Like I said, there's a lot of things I need to fix. So things like that, I think. Do you watch the TV show Lucifer?
It's been recommended. It's
Yeah.
I know it's one of those top shows. I haven't gotten into it yet, but
So I
maybe I should.
I liked Lucifer because it does the same type of kind of slight twist on things. And again, I'm not religious, so I don't know how much of it's actual fiction versus what's pulled from religious texts or something to that effect. But just the premise of Lucifer being the devil, who is not bad in any way, shape, or form. He has a job to do. He has to run hell, right? And he gets really angry, throughout the TV show when people are like, well,
The devil gets angry.
yeah. He's like, the devil made me do it. He's like, no. That was all you. Like, I'm just here to make you repent for your sins and all this other stuff, and make you suffer for eternity because of your own grief or whatever like that. So he's like, I didn't make you do anything. Like, that was all you. You're the free will
so it's
guy.
all about free will, free
Yeah,
choice.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but he's like, a lot of people take my name in vain. Like, I did something. It's like, it's not this. So it was just kind of funny.
Different spin.
Exactly. It's a little different, maybe thought process on it. Okay, so you don't know if ghosts exist. You're open to the notion.
I mean, does someone? I mean,
I
I
don't
guess
know.
there are people. I'm not a median, so I
don't know.
I think it'd be cool, to have Grandpa moseying around.
I don't know if that'd be a good thing.
Maybe
actually.
not,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Yeah, I think that there's possibilities.
Yeah.
I haven't had that level of interaction,
Right.
especially where I'm from. We're supposed to be a lot of ghosts, but there are people that I know that I trust and respect, which makes me not be completely one-sided. And
Right.
be like, ghosts are fake, So
what about aliens?
oh gosh, you're really cranking that knob up, huh?
Do you believe in aliens?
I mean, why not? There's in the mystery of it all, right? Okay, I'll say this. My father watched it. My dad is Micah Johns 2.0. He believes in Sasquatch. He believes in UFOs and all that stuff. He's definitely that kind of guy. But it's my father, and I'll love and respect him. So I don't think he's crazy. But I will entertain it, and I will watch a UFO show with my dad. And he's like, look, these are guys in the Air Force. These are fighter pilots talking about this weird thing they saw in the sky. And I'm like, I know, right? So yeah,
have
why
you ever
not?
been in a jet?
But, have I?
Have you ever
No.
ridden in a jet?
No, I haven't.
So has your father?
I don't think so.
Okay. So
Well, he's flown. Like he's trying to get his his piloting license, but
Okay.
not in a jet.
So I rode in an F-16 when I was a senior airman, and I will tell you that obviously, like, it's a morale flight, so they take you up there and they put you through paces that you should not, like, especially a 21-year-old boy should not have to deal with, who's never been through altitude chambers and everything like that. Like, I had no training for this, right? It was just a morale flight, and I will say that through maybe the seventh. I don't know what the barrel roll or whatever. I saw things too.
Yeah.
So it's called hypoxia. It's
called G-forces.
Exactly. Like I saw a lot of stuff randomly. So if you would have asked me like how was it up there, I'd be like, man, there's aliens everywhere.
There was aliens in the jet.
Exactly. There's no.
I might be an alien. Who
I've
knows?
never. Gosh, yeah, it was a very cool experience, but I can totally see how fighter pilots who are, doing these, 7+G maneuvers, how they could see something in the air. Obviously, we have videographic evidence. There's like, well, the camera doesn't get G-force, whatever. So I don't know. My brother watches the Ancient Aliens or whatever.
Yeah.
Goes through like evidence that aliens have come to Earth and visited and set up stuff and talked to people and became gods to, almost like Indiana Jones Crystal Skull.
Oh, great movie.
That whole
That
thing.
was a fantastic movie. 5 stars.
So that type of situation, he watches the Ancient Aliens like TV show on Discovery Channel, or I don't know what it is, but
History Channel probably.
maybe. So he does watch those. I remember he was really into them a couple years back. So I don't know if he still is a believer.
Probably.
But I mean, it's fine. We all need something to believe in, right?
Yeah.
It's fine. So I for one believe that there's too many worlds out there for there not to have something. I don't know.
It'd be boring to think so, wouldn't it?
It would.
Just a bunch of desolate planets in the universe. Like, well,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure about like Green Lantern type situation.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
Well, let's go back to this 5-star movie. So,
Oh God.
so actually, let's go on to the movies though. What's a movie that you can watch over and over again and never get bored of it?
First thing that comes to mind is Tommy Boy. That's a cherished movie with my family. So
Yeah.
Tommy Boy is definitely up there. I'm pretty sure Christmas Vacation's become a routine holiday movie for us.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the Mel Brooks movies. So Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
History of the World Part 1
Mhm.
or Part 2. I can't remember.
Was-
Part 1. The joke was that they didn't make a Part 2.
Right. Was Young Einstein, was that Mel
Young
Brooks as well?
Frankenstein.
No, yeah, but
and-
there's a Young Einstein
Is there?
with the Australian dude, Reckless Kelly.
You might be teaching me something. I
Oh
didn't
my
know there was
gosh.
a young. I know there's a Young Frankenstein, and that's a cherished movie as well.
Maybe
But-
it's not called Young Einstein. I'm gonna Google it real quick. But Reckless Kelly plays Einstein, and he goes off and he meets Marie Curie, which they were not like romantic in real life, but in the movie they get romantic, so it's cool. But I think the whole premise was to get bubbles in beer because they didn't. I guess all beer was bubbleless. So
Interesting.
yeah, like they go and they make an atomic bomb and all this other random stuff,
That's awesome.
but it's all just to get bubbles in beer.
It's a worthy investment of science. You got to take some time to at least attempt it, right? Except the atomic bomb on the end was probably not the best call.
Probably not the best call. It's fine. Yeah, it is Young Einstein, 1988. Oh, it's an Australian comedy.
But it's not Mel Brooks.
I'm sorry, not Reckless Kelly. I don't know why I was calling him that. The same dude played Reckless Kelly in another movie. I think it was called Reckless Kelly. But that's, I guess, more of a historical fiction about an Australian, a bandito or something. So kind of like. He's kinda
Ruffian.
I was gonna say like a Robin Hood.
Oh, okay.
So he's kind of like an Australian Robin Hood, but I'm not sure if he steals from anyone. But anyway, the guy's name is Yahoo Serious. That's his
That's a
name.
great name.
Yeah, right.
I'm jealous of that name.
Right. So I don't. Oh, he actually directed it as well.
Nice.
And-
Okay,
and
I'll
he
add that to
produced
my
it.
books. I like those. I like old comedies. I mean, I think I just named a few.
Yeah, I'll have to. I'll show you what it looks like later. So
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. What's the last thing you Googled?
Probably translation for some kind of German sentence since I was writing a 20-line pretend conversation of brothers at dinner. So most likely that.
Yeah.
But I could check. I mean, we can find out what the last thing I Googled
So
was.
we didn't talk about this on record. So you are unmarried, no children.
Yep.
You have a dog, Kita.
Yep.
So it's a German Shepherd.
Yep.
Um,
She's a couple months old. It's from
oh, she's a
if you know-
puppy.
yeah. So Sergeant Drummond
Yeah.
and Unique. They're That was from their litter. Their dog, their mama dog Nala, and then Lieutenant Norman's dog Floki is the father. So that litter's mostly on base. So you'll probably see a lot of German Shepherds roaming around.
All right.
About their birthday was August 14th, I believe. So they're a couple months old.
All right. Is Kita a handful?
Yeah, she's great. She's I don't know if mouth reverse roles. She's she's still in that biting phase.
Yes.
So yeah, she gets a handful in her mouth usually whenever she says hi. But no, she's great. Take her to the beach all the time. Everything social media. If anyone even looks at that, it's all my dog now.
Yeah.
So I don't exist anymore. My Facebook and Instagram are just pictures of my dog. She took over.
Yeah.
So
Is that a bad thing?
no, not at all.
I have nothing against you.
I think it's a great thing.
But I think that dog photos are 10 times better than people.
She's way more photogenic than me anyway.
I mean,
so,
I think the same thing as my cat. So it's my wife's cat, but I have to claim him too. So he's kind of cool. So this is kind of a deep question as well. You might not have an answer to right off the bat, so I'll give you time if you need it. But what do you do to make the world a better place?
Man, I thought that was going to be deeper than aliens and ghosts.
Oh, we got other stuff.
Oh, okay. What do I do to make the world a better place? Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know if I can affect the. It'd be cool to know that your effect at a small level to that magnitude. I will say, I guess tying a lot of it back to it's kind of corny, but the mission, right? I think the times that I've actually had an influence and what you see on the news, and obviously can't go into detail on some of those things, has been what I've done during the mission. So getting rid of people that are bad, making sure our troops on the ground are safe, things like that. I definitely feel that more on a personal level, that I'm affecting something much greater than me when I work mission.
Yeah.
As far as just on a regular plain day, something a little more light and hearted, I just try to make people smile and laugh. But this job has taken some of that, you know. I actually was joking the other day, when you're USAPM and you're Tasker and your things that people go about. It's harder to come into someone's office and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" They're like, "I'm working on it," and you're like, but okay, I'm sorry. I just want to say, how's your day, But I'd say just trying to bring a little bit of joy into my family and friends, and then the mission, I think, is probably my biggest impact when it comes to a greater thing than me.
Yeah, I do think that the more dog photos you put out there, the better the world's going to get. I'm not going to lie.
True. Maybe I should do more hashtags.
There you go.
So that people have more visibility of Kita, because she's a beautiful dog and everyone should see her.
More dogs in your life. MDIYL. There you go.
Yeah, I can remember that. MDIAL.
There we go.
Got it.
Okay, so what do you think? Which celebrity or band do you think has the worst fan base?
Yikes. Celebrity or band?
Yes. If you need me to cut anything out, just let me know.
No, it's okay. Celebrity fan base. Okay, so I'm not a huge pop culture guy, so this is more difficult for me, but is it a cop-out to say Justin Bieber? I guess it is. I think he's changed. He's growing up. He's doing okay.
Right?
He's doing okay. I won't say that. Scratch that. Cut that out of the record.
I think one of the last songs or something like that he's done, like he talks about like how the world put all this pressure on him when he was just 12 years old.
I mean, yeah, he's a kid.
And obviously when I was,
you do stuff to make yourself look cool, right?
Right.
But it was just more visible.
This is true.
Thank God we weren't under cameras.
I know. I was doing horrible things at 12, so.
Pretending to be a ghost by Gettysburg Battlefield. No, I mean,
rattling chains and stuff.
That's probably bad. I feel like it's cop. I hate to say it, the first two that came to mind was him, and then Nickelback. But Nickelback also seems like a cop out. But what does the fan base look like? Do you ever see someone rocking a Nickelback patch on their leather jacket? No. Like, what is that fan base anyway?
So what about? Let's see. Who would you imagine has the worst fan base?
I don't know. Maybe I should be more in tune with that, or maybe
I don't know.
I really I feel like I wish I could ask like my youngest sister, my younger sister,
Hmm.
because she went to college and all that stuff. Like who is that? Now I'm a little older. I don't really know what the bad fan base is.
Right.
Um,
I might need to delete all of this right here. Actually, just
yeah,
take it all out.
you
But
probably should.
I was thinking,
For me, I mean, music. I mean, as also being a musician, I love like just about anything.
yeah,
My variety. I don't think people can just be a genre now. I feel like there's so much out there that you can't be like.
right.
There are some people that I do know that are like only country, put it on. That's it. That's all I listen to. But I still think that they probably would be like, oh, this is kind of an interesting song.
Yeah. In a couple of weeks, you're actually going to hear from one of our other airmen in the group who is an artist, who's a
really?
rapper.
A rapper.
Yeah. Let's go with musician, right? Because I don't want to paint him as just a rapper, right? Because I'm sure that I haven't listened to all of his content, but he's also an avid YouTuber and things like that. So let's go with he is an artist and he's a content creator. And you're going to hear from him in a couple of weeks, actually,
Yeah.
on the podcast. So
I'd love to, drop that SoundCloud.
yeah, I gotta figure out if I'm allowed to put his music in the podcast, and not like, I don't know, get legal.
Maybe he can call me
ramifications.
out and I can battle with him.
So do you
freestyle back?
do you feel yourself a rapper?
That is
freestyler?
the widest way I think I've ever been asked.
So I know,
Do you
right? Well,
fancy yourself a
do you
rapper?
fancy yourself a rapper? Can you
Um,
layeth down the beat?
Yes. So I try. Okay, I'll be honest. Actually, I really do. I'd say that there's inspirational juice that I like to drink to help me with my creativity.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most of my friends that have known me for a while know that I do like to just try and riff every now and then.
And you're a
stuff.
drummer, so you
I
make
am a
your
drummer.
own beats.
Right. Well, or you just, Spotify has drum
This is true.
beats, street beats to rap to. I'm
Right.
sure whoever this is, maybe I know them, probably does the same.
Mm-hmm.
Just make stuff up. I don't have a beatboxing friend, unfortunately.
Okay.
If I did, I'd use them.
So I've got an app on my phone.
Oh,
and
we're not doing this now.
No,
are
we
you?
don't, we're not going to. Yeah. But I would like to set up, how are you at Vanilla Ice? At Ice Ice Baby?
I've
Could you-
never
could you-
attempted it, but I will say,
Could you get good at it?
judging by how Step Brothers went,
Yeah.
I mean, I really feel like I should buy a jumpsuit and give this a run.
So we have an airman in the 392nd who has challenged the entire group to a rap battle of Ice Ice Baby.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So I will set
Can
up.
I know who the person is before I accept?
You can. You can. It is Airman Tromlitz. She is in the 392nd.
All right.
And she was on the podcast earlier, the the ad hoc. So it's like 2.5. Every 2 weeks, obviously, a podcast episode comes out. But 392nd Commander Lieutenant Colonel Stephanie Murphy wanted to do just a random, like, hey, sit down, let's talk about Thanksgiving and things like that. So, and she was in that conversation.
You're going to have to update whatever your podcast header says and just slash rap battle slash.
I mean, it's in the show notes, but it's cool.
slash karaoke.
That's cool. I don't know. I don't know how long the title can be, but I'll see how long, like how far I can stretch that.
Oh,
So.
we might have to get the band back together. Some folks might remember Kevin and the Krakens. We played for the annual awards.
You
one year.
did. You also. I'm not sure if Kevin and the Krakens did it, but I do remember at my promotion ceremony that I did with the 8th and Master Sergeant Brown, Jennifer Brown. I think Micah Johns was one of them.
Yep.
But also someone else was playing the national anthem on the electric guitar,
Big Cade Porch.
and it sounded awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Yep,
all right.
yep.
We'll look into a rap battle. So we'll.
What did I
keep
just?
We'll keep
what did
that
I sign
open
myself
for,
up for?
the future. And if you want to practice Vanilla Ice or Ice Ice Baby on the drum set as well at home, because I know
do
you're a
that.
drummer,
Absolutely.
so you can practice that and you lay down just the beat or like the
Yes.
thing, and then no audio needed. It's just you versus Airman Tromlitz.
Gotcha.
So, and we can do a side by side, TikTok or something. I don't know.
All right.
Whatever the
Well,
kids are doing nowadays.
man, wow.
And
Okay.
we'll set it up.
Yeah. Let me jot this down.
Yeah.
As
Yeah. Don't
a
worry.
possibility.
Yeah. I'll just put it. I'll send it to your email. I'll put it as a tasker, so you don't have to worry
Oh,
about it.
Yeah.
You're sure to work it then.
Okay.
Also, let's see. There is a guy on TikTok. I'm sure he's on YouTube as well. But his whole like genre that he likes to play with is adding drums to songs that don't need drums.
Really?
He added drums to like Hey There Delilah and a whole bunch of random songs, and a lot of them sound a lot better.
I could say so. I mean,
Like Travis
for
Barker
me, I
did
gotta
that
play.
too.
When you said "Hey There, Delilah," I would think that's using like brushes. It's a slow song.
It is.
Maybe if there was like a punk rock version, I'd be down. Which I'm pretty sure there's got to be a "Hey There, Delilah"
Oh, yeah.
punk rock or sped up version. That'd be more my lane to add drums to that.
Yeah, maybe it's not Here They Are Delight. Ugh, I can't even speak now.
I mean, I'm sure I can hit some wind chimes and stuff. If I'd like to hear it, is what I'm trying to say.
Maybe it's not Hey There Delilah. I'll look for it and I'll send you a message or something through Mattermost.
That works.
And show you where it's at. I will say these sessions of bragging on my airmen, right? They are given out to people who we think, as you know, in the group, of people who are deserving of being recognized, who probably more than likely don't get enough recognition in their day-to-day jobs. Regardless of who you work for, I know that there are certain NCOs, senior NCOs, officers, commanders, shirts, chiefs, who always make it a point to go around and talk to people and make sure they know that all of the airmen, you know, with whatever job they're doing, are recognized and are appreciated. But this is just another step for us to sit down and actually talk to you and talk to other airmen, to get more on a personal level of who you are, right? So I'm not sure who's your actual supervisor.
So that'd be Senior Master Sergeant Roman.
Okay, so Senior Master Sergeant Roman, does he know that you have a new puppy?
Yep.
Okay. Does he know that you go drumming?
I think he knows I'm a drummer. I'm not entirely sure. We talk about a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Where did the rumpster come from?
Okay.
Do I want to know?
Oh no, I can make it short. So, security investigation prior to the one I did right now.
Okay.
A friend of mine said I had an alias, which I didn't. He said, "Yeah, he goes by Randy the Rumster," and they were like, "Got it, put it down." They called me and they said, "Hey, we're just doing a review. Wanted to see you didn't have this alias listed, so wanted to verify that you also go by Randy the Rumster." And I just started laughing because I did not know if it was a joke, if it was real. They're like, and they didn't laugh on their side.
yeah.
So I was like, "What's going on here?" So I was like, "No, absolutely not." I was like, "I don't think anyone's ever called me that." And they're like, "So you deny this?" And I'm like, "Yes." But that friend still calls me Randy the Rumster now through messages. And I think now that I told other people this story, we just had the bridge chat that's about humor.
Right.
Senior Roman told me to tell the story, so I did. And so we all had a good laugh at me going through security investigation, being asked if I was called Randy the Rumster.
So I specifically did not put anyone on there that I knew was going to do some crazy crap like that for my investigation.
See, this isn't one of those friends I expected from either.
It's always the quiet ones.
But yeah, he's a very quiet guy. Yeah.
So he just decided, you know what? Randy the Rumster.
Yeah, I call him Randy. Yeah, sure. That's what he did.
Has he ever called you that before?
I don't think. Oh, maybe in a message. First, face to face, no.
Yeah.
After that security investigation, every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a jerk move.
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it makes me want to do it.
It's hilarious now that you have a clearance and it's good and everything like
Yeah.
that. But initially, I'm sure you were just like, don't do that.
Yeah. No, I mean, whoever's going to put me on their list, I got to think of something
Right.
fun and creative to have them have a story.
Okay. Never mark
Don't put
Sergeant
me down
Kelso
because
as a security reference. Good to know. Good to know. Well, I want to thank you for coming over here today. You did not know this was happening.
I had no clue.
You had no idea that you were going to be on a podcast,
Nope.
and that's fine. So these are new digs and everything, so no one even knows what's over here yet. So outside of a few people, and this is going to be a vibrant spot whenever the renovation kicks off, so that you are a part of. So whether you like it or not,
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
but
here for the party.
yeah. So I want to thank you for not just being here today, but also everything you do for the group. Taking on the role of USAPM is not an easy chore. Being a former USAPM myself, I understand. But also being in a role where your job and your roles and responsibilities are not probably well defined, because a CAG, the Commander's Action Group, is usually for a 1-star or above. The 1-star is usually the lowest level that has a Commander's Action Group, which is kind of like the role you're playing.
Right.
So outside of what the 1-star general would want, and you working for a lieutenant colonel, it's probably a little odd in some aspects, but I also understand the amount of change and amount of things that go on in the 8th IS, and a majority of our squadrons actually, but there's always a whole kind of line or action item list that people are doing that's not part of their job, and you taking on that role and kind of fulfilling that, the keeper of that list is probably not a easy role, but
It's like jumping on a treadmill at high speed.
yeah, just see how far you can run.
Yeah.
Until you trip up and fly off.
Yeah, and then hopefully someone helps you back onto it. And you're like, I don't want to get back on that thing, but they're like, you got to run.
Yeah. Fast.
Yeah.
So, all right. Do you have anything that you want to tell the group, the airmen in the group, the leadership in the group, anything like that? Kind of a parting message. Obviously, you're not leaving anytime soon, so you
Yeah.
better not be. We have an inspection coming up on February 16th. So,
Yep. No, I just want to let you guys know I'm PCSing next month. No, I'm just kidding. I'd say even if you don't see it, and honestly, sometimes being stuck in that day-to-day, AET or telework or whatever you guys got going on, people are working hard behind the scenes. I'm seeing that now, and hopefully there's a better way we can kind of showcase that for you guys, that you can understand that we do put in a lot of work for everyone, and keep trying, keep going, whatever you got going on with your life, keep putting in that extra hard work. And hey, this is I'm surprised by this, but I'm thankful that my leadership has given me an opportunity to be recognized, and hopefully supervisors also do the same for their airmen. And I would like for both, you and I, to see a lot more people signed up for this, so that you have to actually pick and choose, maybe rack and stack bragging for your airmen. It might be a different process.
yeah.
So
All right. Thank you very much.
thank you.
If you have any ideas, recommendations for future podcast shows, or guests that you'd like to hear from, let us know by going to any of the socially acceptable means of communication. Leave us a comment. Facebook URL is facebook.com/group/692D podcast. The email is simply 692dpodcast@gmail.com. And you can always leave us a message on the Mattermost channel. If you can't get to any of those, send me an email at derek.addison@us.af.mil, and I'll respond as soon as possible. That's the show for today. So for now, aloha, take care of yourself. And if you can, take care of someone else too.